Hello everybody and welcome to week 3. You're probably excited because this is the last week of chain rule problems, but I'm sad because I love chain rule. Anyways, this week we're going to be talking about exponential functions. So it's kind of the last type of function where we're going to be able to apply chain rule in order to solve the derivative. Again, exponentials, just like trig, can freak people out. They're just different. They're not scary, I promise. They're just different and they have to be treated differently. So we're going to learn how to handle them today and we'll be fine. Don't worry. So if you remember, in the very beginning of this course, I made you do a Flipgrid to kind of get to know your peers. That was kind of our way to build our classroom community because in our Flipgrid, I made you guys teach a problem. So you had to take a problem, you had to write it out and take a video of you explaining it to your peers. I did that because the best way to learn is by teaching. I remember in college, I was at supplemental instruction, so an SI leader for Calc 1, and I learned calculus because I taught calc to my peers in college, that I never would have understood the subject as best as I do now if I didn't teach it to them. Because when you're just taking a course, yeah, you learn the material, but when you teach it, you really, really understand it. So that's why I wanted to throw you guys out of your comfort zone right away and have you teach a problem to your classmates, because you learn it better that way. In this week, we're kind of going to do the same thing. I'm not going to make you do a Flipgrid where you have to verbalize and teach, but you're going to make an assessment. So you're going to pretend like you're a teacher. You're going to throw yourself in a teacher's perspective and you're going to make an assessment, so make a test. It doesn't necessarily have to be a test. It has to be an assessment. So you are the creativity of how you assess your students, because you are not a teacher. So the creativity of how you assess your students is completely up to you. But there are a few criteria that you'll have to incorporate in your assessment. So that's going to be your goal this week, is to make an assessment. But before we talk about that assessment, I want to talk about the exponential functions a little bit more, because it's the last thing we're talking about. I have a YouTube video. So you're going to watch the YouTube video, and then after that, you're going to kind of have all the base knowledge you need to make a test, because you're going to have polynomial functions that we talked about first week, you're going to have trig functions that we talked about last week, and then this week you're talking about exponentials. So you're going to have all that knowledge in your tool belt, which is awesome. After you watch the video, then you're going to make your assessment. So here's what your assessment needs to include. Again, whatever type of test you do, whether you make a test, you make them make a video, you make them write an essay to portray their knowledge, I don't care. That's up to you. But it needs to include an answer key, because that answer key is my way of assessing you guys and how well you know the math. So make sure that answer key is free of spelling mistakes, free of math mistakes, I want it to be very professional. Even your assessment. So your answer key must be professional, and your assessment, the way you do it, must be professional. Laid out properly, not like an explosion in your face. Make it clean, easy to understand. Just like a normal test or assessment. You need to include algebraic problems or polynomial functions. You need to include exponential and trig. So all of the problems that we have learned these past 3 weeks need to be included in your assessment. There also needs to be variation of the level of difficulty in the problems. So for each polynomial, trig, and exponential, I want easy, medium, and difficult type problems in there. I want to assess if people it's your assessment, but we have to have variation in difficulty level in your assessment. So those are really the only criteria that I want. Just professional looking, clean, test your students' knowledge of math. And we're doing that because I want you to pretend like you're the teacher. You're going to create this. I will provide a rubric for you guys on everything I expect out of the assessment that you make. And then you are going to submit it to me in Canvas. So that's about it. Not too bad. Just watch that YouTube video that I will post and then create your assessment. And don't worry, I will put all this in writing so that you know exactly what to incorporate. But then we covered chain rule. So have fun making an assessment and be creative with it. I would love to see a non-traditional math test and see if that could be like an awesome way to assess students. So be creative. Have fun. Oh, and let me know if you have any questions. Of course, use that Google Doc, email me, we can Skype. Let's just keep that communication open. See y'all later.